I'm glad you're still with us, Business Today. Rowena Kajumba here, and it's time for us to get into our insight, and we are talking cashless economy. But I must say, cashless economy and financial inclusion are, of course, two sides of one coin. Now, of course, what we're looking at here is change, technology, and these things don't come easy. Change is hard to come by, but we must say the constant change is a constant thing in our lives. And of course, we talk cashless economy. With me in studios is Nilsims Sango, who is a country lead Flutterwaves, and we're going to be having this discussion. You're very welcome.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad you made time with us, because let's be honest, as much as we talk about the cashless economy, there's so many people that probably do not even understand this. So many people who are also in the formal, way of doing business as well.
Yeah.
So, first of all, before we get into that discussion, tell me about Flutterwave. Yeah,
so like you said, my name is Nilsim Sango. I'm the country lead at Flutterwave. Flutterwave, we are a payments technology company, right? Our goal really, when we were founded 3 years ago in Silicon Valley, was Africa, right? When you look at Africa, you realize that, again, in cashless economy, when someone thinks of Africa, they think it's far behind. Yeah. But not the case, But the issue was people have fragmented payments, right? So you go to East Africa, people are using M-Pesa, mobile money, whatever they're using. You go to North Africa, different story. You go to West Africa, different story. South Africa, different story. So there was many different wallets, many different payment methods, but no one person could give you that one place where you could just plug in and accept every single payment method.
Around the continent.
Around the continent. So our goal was, how do we make this seamless, right, around the continent of Africa? And so we've been in business for 3 years, and I mean, what we've seen is...
And then this is exactly what you're doing. So if I need something probably away, probably from Nigeria, from wherever, and I can easily get whatever I need, that's what you're doing.
Yes.
How easy has it been there?
Challenges, of course, without a doubt, but as well, lots of success stories. One thing we were blessed with was, our founders were really, experienced in this industry. But what I can tell you is the problem was big, because someone in Nigeria doesn't even know what mobile money is today, right? Nigeria today, they're paying off their bank accounts. So you go to a place, you put money from your bank account and you pay. In Uganda, people are using mobile money like, in Kenya, it's even worse, right? So what would someone who is selling stuff from Nigeria, items, do if they need to charge someone in Uganda, right? So he wants to pay using mobile money. The person in Nigeria wants to get Naira in their bank account, right? So imagine that confusion. And so over the years, we've been able to, do this across now 5, 6 African countries. The goal is to cover the entire continent, have one API, I call them APIs really, one area where someone can just access that. And if you're in Uganda, when you choose to pay in Uganda shillings, you see mobile money.
Yes. You
see Visa, MasterCard, of course, everything. If you're in Kenya, you open with Kenya shillings, you see Kenya shillings. You see M-Pesa. Okay. In Nigeria, you see bank account. So that when someone is paying you, the experience really, it's about the experience. The experience should be as seamless. So
which countries are these, if you don't mind mentioning?
Oh, yeah, sure. So Nigeria, of course. Nigeria, Ghana, Rwanda now, Kenya, South Africa, Sierra Leone, and Uganda, of course.
Okay, that's very interesting. So haven't you found the demand, rather market, quite different for all of these countries, where you have to first take some time to really figure out how to deal with it?
Of course. And and that is why we're in business, really. So the goal is that we do our hard work.
The hard work,
You get my point? So the goal is that we do the hard work, and then the business owner just has to plug into us. But of course, every country has its own litigation, its own policy, its own methods of understanding business. So our goal is to understand those, get compliance, figure them out, and then present this to our customers, the merchants.
That is very, very interesting. Okay, now let us look at the idea of, or rather, the cashless economy in itself. If we come back home to Uganda, is this something we've understood of, got a grip of, or you still have a lot to do and say, well, our people need to understand what this is?
Yeah, I'll tell you something very interesting, which I learned when I was in China. It's surprising that in the world, right, the biggest number of mobile money transactions, even just users, are in Africa.
Interesting.
Can you imagine? So if you think of it, it's sort of like, two sides. The first side is that we're the quickest adopters, we're the biggest number of users. Over 120 million mobile money users are in Africa. And in the world, there are 175 million plus. So you can imagine, which means that we have actually a chance to be at the forefront of this. On the other hand, lots of training is required, right? So people are mostly using mobile money peer-to-peer, just to send each other money. No one is using it to transact. So we want to now get them in that mindset of you can actually buy things, you can actually pay for services, you can actually do all these things. And it's picking up, it's picking up.
It's picking up.
Yeah.
So you do trainings?
Yes, so inevitably as part of what we do, we have to train the merchants. So there's merchants and then there's the customers. So the merchants, we have to train them because you have this awesome platform that no one knows how to use. Still no one will use it. So you have to tell them, look, how do you accept these payments? How do you push it to your customers? How do you benefit?
But like earlier on in having a conversation, people love to know where the money is.
Yes.
I don't know how easy that has been for you, because even with mobile money, I'll be honest with you, when mobile money came through, it took a while for people to really get into it.
Yes.
Just because people got to realize, well, there's less movements. That's what made it.
Spraying money at parties.
That is true.
People are going with a stash of money. They want to see the money. But again, the advantages overweigh all these things.
I mean, you can even control your money if you don't have it on you.
Yes.
It's way easier.
Yes.
Okay. Now, very interesting. Now, let us look at how one gets to be a part of this. If I want to be a part of this and I'm coming to Flutterwave, what's the process like?
So yeah,
how easy?
So again, we have two products at Flutterwave. We have one for the merchants, for the business owners, which, I mean, for them, they plug into their already existing platforms, they push their customers to pay them. And then, but we have one for the consumers, the users, which is called Butter. Then it's called Rave, it's called Butter. Butter is an app. Basically, just download an app, you sign up. On that app, you can receive money, send money, buy airtime. We partner with Visa to do this, so we have virtual Visa cards. You can make a Visa card in dollars. You buy online. You can pay for bills, utilities, everything. The goal is to have one platform where you have everything that's regarding money.
Okay, just so we're clear, Butter, the spelling?
B-A-R.
B-A-R, like
T.
the
like Butter Trade.
Butter
That's
Trade.
the idea, right? So everyone go on your Play Store, App Store, get Butter. Get Butter and download it.
So it would be easy for you to transact anywhere in the world.
Very easy.
Okay.
Very easy.
And how about for the businessman?
So for the business owners, we have a platform called Rave. Now what Rave does is it changes the way you do business. So first of all, the minute you plug into Rave, really simple to plug into, 5 minutes and you're done. You begin to accept payments from across the world, right? Which means if I'm a business owner today, I plug into Rev, I can accept instantly Visa, MasterCard, American Express. But I can also accept mobile money, M-Pesa, Nigeria bank accounts, South African payments, Rand and everything. So which means that today if I'm to sell my service or product to someone in Nigeria, I don't need to have someone in Nigeria to receive the Naira, send the Western Union. They pay me in Naira and I'm settled in Uganda in my bank account in Standard Chartered.
Okay.
So, business owners, it's free of charge. We only charge on transactions.
Okay. So the banks you're working with here specifically is just Standard Chartered?
No, we push money to each and every bank.
That's nice.
And we're plugged into MTN
Good
and
network
Airtel.
there.
Yes.
Okay. Very interesting. Okay. Now let's look at why we're looking at the cashless world being very important. But of course, we're looking at the concept is very good.
Yeah.
Looking at the cashless economy, there's opportunities for everyone because, hey, little or even no movement really required. At the end of the day, if I have a business, if you need to get something, but real quick, generally, why should people say, well, this is the way we should be headed? The advantages that actually come with cashless transactions.
Very, very. So there's many advantages, right? And one of them, the really fast one, is the ease of transaction, right? You don't have to go to anywhere. The money is in your hand, it's in your control, right? You can transact. Second is security, right? If I was to push, like, for example, last week, or someone was paying on a platform about $25,000. You have to move with that money physically to go and pay. You know, you're just on pressure. The third thing is knowing how much you're spending. I think from a personal perspective, it's just understanding what am I spending on. The data. There's been no data before this move towards cashless economy. You don't know how much you're spending. It's just impulsive. You cannot keep track. You cannot account. This is good for both individuals, also for government to know what's happening, right? And the last thing I can say is it's just convenience, right? In terms of if you want to get money today, for example, today on Butter, you can push money from mobile money to any bank account. Imagine having to go through the traffic.
I know.
Line up in the bank.
Get the money.
Deposit it. You know, just to deposit money, right? Today you can do it from your seat at your office desk, right? And that's pulling money from the bank account, sending the bank account, sending to M-Pesa in Kenya, to Kenyan bank account. So the convenience.
See, the thing is, I don't know how you say this. Do you see that maybe we're seeing a change, you know, in this aspect? But I must be honest with you. Today, you'll have to move with your card.
Yes.
And with some cash.
Yes.
You know, just in case. Yes. And then there are also people that, because there are places that, there are very few people that actually use this, that if you went to a place and had to use your card, then the extra charges that come with it, you know, the percentage that is going to be taken up by whether the restaurant or wherever you're getting from is going to be much, because there are very few people that are going to use it, and they also need to. Yes. So, what do you think of the current situation?
I mean, so it's not as good as we want it to be, but it's not where we were as well. We must appreciate that. So, just, you know, going to a place and you see today they accept Visa is a big step, right? And today we're seeing many more and more places just waiving those fees eventually, right? And the goal here is that, I mean, the play is that it's a chicken and egg, right? So for you to get less and less fees, you need more and more people. But for you to get the people, you need to have low fees.
That is very true.
And so the thing we're seeing is that we have to keep, it's something we want to keep doing, right? So as we introduce these easier payment methods, as we have apps like Butter, which make it simpler, as we put our merchants on Rev, and very many other platforms, but especially on Rev, you know, what we see now is that you go to a place and you have options. You have options. And the more options you have, the less and less need you'll have to have cash.
Yeah, that is very true. But are we seeing an environment, a financial, you know, kind of environment that is going to make this easy for us to move with the change of the times?
Yes, I mean, my view is that the mobile phone has been the #1 drive of this, right? And it's the best thing that could have happened to Africa, especially because there was a case of financial inclusion, where the banks in the past were not having branches in the deepest, darkest corners. Right now, 4G coverage is everywhere, right? What that means is someone with a smartphone right now in Kidepo, I can send them money, right? And this means that there's an opportunity, right? If the person can pay for services, if a person can access all these things, which a bank would give them on our platform, Butter, why not, right?
So do you feel that maybe, you know, players, the central bank or the government, or, you know, whoever must come in, really have come in and pushed for many of these changes? So we still look at an environment where we're sort of dragging.
I mean, if you look at the economies where which have gone cashless, government has been behind it, right? In terms of pulling money out of the economy and encouraging the use of these platforms. I mean, I feel we have a big role to play. The central bank has a big role to play. Government has a big role to play. I was in China, and in China, you know, government just, you know, said from today onwards, this is going to happen. The bank has that role to play clearly. Also because for you to trust Butter today, you know, to put their 2 million shillings, the bank must say something. You know, you can't, what if I disappear? But if the bank says, you know, we know Flutterwave, we know Butter, you can trust them, then it's validation. So in terms of that, the bank has a key role to play as well.
Very interesting. Okay, so what are you looking at as Flutterwave? We are, you know, we're seeing some thorns and bushes and shrubs, but what are you seeing ahead as Flutterwave to have achieved or to contribute in terms of the issue of financial inclusion, a cashless economy, you know, moving forward?
So, I mean, the first thing really is just to begin to have these conversations. One, as people get the applications, as people download, as people use, you begin to see, right? So the first goal is to have everything that people are needing to use in your platform, right? The second thing we're seeing is, again, there's lots of training, like I told you. So we begin to be involved in the learnings, right? Teaching people how to use these platforms, advantages, being the key at the forefront of driving these lessons forward. And then eventually what we'll have is increasing the number of people who, because we want to, innovation, right? Yeah. The goal is to help people on the continent still understand that, okay, now that payments are sorted, what can we now do, right? So people begin to build for trade, begin to build for logistics, begin to build for hospitality. All these things are made more interesting and seamless and easier because of our infrastructure, our backbone on payments. Yeah, and that's what we're saying.
Very competitive right now.
Yes.
There's so many people coming out and saying, hey, we're making it easy for you. Of course, you've talked about, the African bloc.
Yes.
But why else should one say, well, I think let me go Bata or Rave, under the Flutterwave platform? I
mean, so, like I told you, one of the first things is the talent we have in Flutterwave. Again, founded out of Silicon Valley. The most brilliant guys on the continent are on our team. We are backed by Visa, by MasterCard.
Okay.
So partnerships are key. You want to know that the person handling my money knows what they're doing. If Visa believes in us, because Bata is released in partnership with Visa, right? MasterCard is our investor, right? Oh, wow. The former world CEO, global CEO of Visa, is now the chairman of our board. So why Flutterwave? Why Flutterwave? So internationally, we're recognized. We're playing in all these markets. Beyond Africa, we're doing work in the US, Europe, in Asia now, as you've seen announced. But yeah, the thing is, we have a solid team, we have solid backing, and we're here for the long haul.
So you said if anyone's getting money, if I'm getting money, if someone out there is getting money through the different, but through Flutterwave, it takes about 4 or 5 days?
So this is the merchant. On the merchant side, if you're using Bata, it's instant. On the merchant side, if someone is paying you today from Uganda, when they pay you today, you get your money the next day. If they pay you from out of international payments, you get it in the next next 5 days.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Just because safety purposes.
Exactly right. So you may pay today, tomorrow you disappear. So there's all sorts of guidelines and policy we have to follow. But again, we are we're the fastest. We're the fastest.
That is good. That is good to know. So maybe a final word out there for the people watching. Yeah, I'll ask you to look into your camera over there and maybe talk to them real quick on the issue about Flutterwave, and then real quick throw in something about our cashless economy.
So the cashless economy is happening, right? It's inevitably happening. These are things that happen whether you choose to be a part of it or not. And again, at Flutterwave, we're at the forefront with the African consumer in mind. African consumer, African business. The goal for us at Flutterwave, beyond just payments, is to bring prosperity to the continent and for me to Uganda, really, And that is why I indulge you that, just go on your app store, get Bata. Get Bata is the app, download it. It has everything you need in there to drive you, in this cashless economy. The goal is that we will change how we transact in Africa, in Uganda, forever.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I must say, it's quite interesting to talk cashless economy. But when you hear the word, you're like, huh? Cashless economy?
Cashless.
But what we're saying is, instead of, moving around
with physical
notes.
Really. You ideally have the cash, but
exactly. but security purposes, sometimes even it's easier to do things. I, for one, don't like to move too much. I want to be comfortable in my space. But anyway, cashless economy is something that we need to really understand and accept is actually happening.
Yes, sir.
It is actually happening. Yes, I must say, thank you so much. Neil Sims Sango with us here in studios, and he's the country lead of Flutterwave. He's talked about what this means, what they offer, and I must say, you should take time off and find out what Flutterwave
download
is.
The app.
Yes, and download the app. It could be good for you. So many times you're like, so you just try it. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you,
I do appreciate you for your time. Neil Sims Sango there, country lead, Flutterwave. Thank you so much for watching Business Today. My name is Rowena Kajumba. From me and the entire lovely team here with us, have a lovely morning.